All right, guys, today I have a special show for you. We are going to be out here on Toledo Bend, one of my favorite lakes in the country, and we're going to be targeting crappie, but I have a special technique that I want to show you. We're going to be using really light line, lightweight jig heads, and hopefully catching some of those big fall crappie. The weather's nice. We've got a big storm rolling in, so we got to get out there. Hopefully we'll catch us a few big crappie before the day's end. Let's get out there and see what happens. There we go. That's a good crappie there. Oh man, that's gonna be a nice one, guys. Oh man, there we go. There we go. Check out that slab. My goodness. Look at that nice Toledo Bend crappie. Today we're here on Toledo Bend, and it's not so much about where we are today as much as it is how we are fishing. I'm gonna share with you a really secret crappie technique that we've used for a really long time to catch these crappie. Let me get this crappie back. But let's talk about this for just a second. You know, we have a really nice fall day. Everybody's in the deer stand right now, but we're out here on the water catching really nice fish. We got a really big storm rolling in, and a lot of times this time of year when you have these fronts roll in is when those crappie seem to bite the best. And that is what we are dealing with today. But I have a really special show. We're gonna be talking about super light line, using your active target, and a cool little split shot rig that we've been using here for a really long time that I know will definitely help you catch more fish. But I'm gonna get back out there. I know these crappie are getting ready to bite really good, and I know I'm gonna catch me a few more. So yeah. This place is loaded up, and I'm gonna show you here in just a little while just how good this spot is. All right, guys, I gotta tell you about one of the coolest features I've ever seen on a depth finder, and let me tell you, it's gonna save you so much time on the water. You know, one thing that I used to get so aggravated about is when I'd be graphing along and I'd see a spot that looks so good, and I'd drop a waypoint on it, and then I'd drop my trolling motor and try to get back on it, and it was like an act of Congress just to get back on the exact spot that I marked the waypoint on. Well, no longer do you have to worry about Motor Guide. With the Motor Guide Tour Pro and the Lowrance HDS Live, they have the solution for you. So all you have to do is when you find that juicy spot, that one place that you're like, that is where the fish are, all you have to do is drop you a waypoint on it. You'll go to the waypoint on here and you go to cursor. And it's gonna say engage autopilot in nav mode, and you hit yes. You have to have your troll motor deployed, and it will literally take you over to the waypoint. All right, when I get there, do I want the troll motor just to turn off, to stay still, or to keep going the same general direction? I always, for the most part, keep mine in anchor, because the deal is if I have a spot that I wanna go to, I'm gonna say, okay, this spot over here is the spot. This is the honey hole. This is the brush pile that I wanna sit over the top of, and enable you to just sit there and hold on exactly on the spot and catch as many bass or as many fish as you'd like to catch. No longer are you having to drop a buoy or do anything special. Literally drop your troll motor, hit go to waypoint, and you're right on the spot. And there is nothing better that I've ever seen than that feature right there. They're supposed to bite too. He knocked the fire out of it. There we go. There's another nice one. Man, this little technique is just so killer on crappie in the fall. Another nice slab. I mean, check out that crappie, guys. Another nice one here. And the way we're fishing is so special. I mean, like, I can't begin to tell you how important it is to rig your bait the way that we have it and have your rig set up. Another nice slab there. God, I mean, they're just nice, solid crappie, and that's what you want this time of year. But let's talk about the rig for a minute. I'm not gonna tell you all the baits and all that stuff yet, but as you can tell, I have a split shot here, and I have a really light jig head. This jig head is a 1/32 ounce jig head with a Strike King Lightning Shad. This Lightning Shad is in the blue ice color. But this is a number 7 split shot. So everybody's gonna say, well, why don't you just go to a heavier jig head? Well, the whole point of this it's almost float this jig head behind the split shot. So the split shot's gonna weigh more than the crappie jig, so it actually will pendulum down and it weighs this down. But the other thing is when you're using your active target, Lowrance active target, you can see this rig 10 times better than just having a regular jig head. So you can see the rig, how it falls, and watch it fall through those crappie. And that is a big, big key when you're talking about targeting those particular fish. The other big key here is light fluorocarbon. You know, don't get me wrong, Mr. Crappie himself would probably get really mad at me for saying this, but he really likes throwing 10-pound mono. In this case, I'm throwing 6-pound fluorocarbon. And it is really important for the technique that I'm using and the way that I'm rigging my bait. Because if you don't use that 6-pound fluorocarbon, it doesn't fall through the water at the right speed. And in this situation, speed is everything. So rig that up, put it about 12 to 18 inches above your jig head, and you'll see that rig pendulum down, and that's when you're gonna catch those crappie. But we're gonna talk about more of the technique here in just a minute. I got a chance to go catch me a few more, so y'all just stay tuned, guys. So as you can see, here is the school of crappie that I'm fishing for. Here's a stump right here. And as you can tell right up here in front of me, here is the big stump that I am fishing. You know, but this is the school of crappie that's sitting right off the edge of this particular tree. And there's one side stump that is located right here off the side of that. And every time I pendulum my bait, I'm actually gonna pitch it to about 27 feet and I'm gonna pendulum it down. And if I hit the top of this stump right here, that is where I get my bites almost every single time. This should be it right there. I mean, like money. There he is. Oh yeah, another nice slab right there. Talk about calling your shot. I saw the stump, I saw the fish kind of acting funny towards it, and here we go. Case in point, having the right setup, having your electronics set up the right way, everything is so important when you're out here crappie fishing. You know, the day and age of going out there just dropping a minnow over the side of the boat, I mean, you can still do it, and you can still catch crappie doing it. But I'm just telling you right now, guys, it is just so different these days, especially with stuff like active target and just the sheer understanding of how these crappie set up. You know, but I want to talk to you about real fast is having the right crappie rod for this particular situation. You know, you see a lot of guys having the real long rods, that, you know, 12, 14, 15 foot, big, long jigging rods. And don't get me wrong, in certain situations, that is the big key. But in a situation like this where I'm actually pitching the split shot jig head around, I'm using anywhere between a 6 foot and 7 foot crappie rod. In this case, this is a 6 footer. I've been kind of alternating today between a 6 and a 6.5 foot. But it's a medium light to light action rod. This one's a medium light, has a good bend. This is actually the Wally Marshall Speed Shooter. And you can use a lot of different ones. I just like this one. It feels good. It has a good foam handle. This is just my go-to. We all have that go-to rod and reel. I have a couple of different ones of these because this is just one I use all the time. But having that good, confident rod that you can, when you load up on that crappie, you know you're going to be able to land that fish. But, you know, more times than not, guys, if you just pay attention to the little bitty clues that these fish give you, you'd be shocked how many additional fish you're going to put in the boat. Paying attention to that active target, paying attention how the fish are presented on the piece of cover that you're fishing. You know, and the cool thing is that you can literally take this technique anywhere across the South right now. Fishing bridge pilings, brush piles, stumps, rocks. The possibilities are endless, and you can do it with this exact same setup and everything. But earlier, I told you that I was going to talk to you a little bit about color. You know, today I'm using the color called Blue Ice, and this just happens to have like a pearlescent belly with a blue with a lot of silver in the top of it. You know, and I alternate between about 4 different crappie colors, and you can basically use them all throughout the South. I use Blue Ice when I feel like the water's pretty clear and they're feeding on small shad. That monkey milk type color, which is like a blue glimmer type color. That's also would work really, really well right now. I use electric chicken, which is the chartreuse or green belly with the pink top. And then I use black and chartreuse. And those 4 colors you can literally take all throughout the country and catch crappie. Right now, I would tend to use more of the shad colors, like the monkey milk and the blue ice, or even like a lightning shad, some color like that. But when like the fish are up there spawning, and the springtime of the year is when I go the more colorful colors. Now, when it comes to jig head color, you can use a lot of different ones. Right now, you could probably get away with a pink head with it being so cloudy. But, you know, honestly, this time of year, after they've seen so many crappie jigs, I like to go that straight lead head. It just blends in better. It looks more like a shad, and those crappie sure like to eat it. But I'm going to get back out there and see if I can catch me a couple more before this storm hits me here in just a few minutes.